Hello and happy new moon, everybody. So tonight has been a very unexpected night, actually. Mark and I just had a very long talk about our pasts, well, his past in general, things that he has never told me before. And it shed light on why he is the way he is, and it shed light on everything. But it still doesn't excuse anything. You could go through hell, and if you come out treating people like hell, then you're only stuck in your own cycle. You're stuck in your own vicious cycle that your whole family's probably been in for generations. It's up to you to break that cycle. It's up to you. It's up to us to recognize the behavior that we see, that we know belongs to our parents. There's behaviors that I display that I know I spent my childhood suffering from, that I display to this day, that now I display. And it's like a repeated pattern. And I refuse to be a part of the pattern. I refuse to continue this pattern of uncertainty and self-destruction that seems to plague me and probably my ancestors. Trauma and emotional pain have a creepy way of imprinting themselves on a generation, on a family line, and it will continue and continue until the people who feel these pains and feel this suffering that they know their whole family suffers from, until they recognize that it's up to them to stop this behavior. So tonight, I want to do some dream work. I want to try to delve into my subconscious, and because lately I've been having a lot of really vivid dreams. I mean, I always have vivid dreams, but they seem to have a lot of symbolism in this time that I keep thinking about in my waking life. So right now I've got a black candle, and I've got my litha oil. Is it litha? No. Is it? What was the thing we just celebrated? Imbolc. I'm sorry, Imbolc. I have my Imbolc oil, and so I'm going to use. Well, first let me. Clear. And I actually just called on my spirit guides and my ancestors I asked them to show themselves, and I took a couple pictures. Now, after I took those pictures, my cats come into this room, and where I told my ancestors and my spirit guides to stand for this picture, the cat Jelly was staring crazily at this spot. She was staring at the window. I should have took a picture of it, which indicates that they were there. I could feel them right now. I could feel them around me. But I always do the bell to knock out any negative spirits, any negative energy. Right now, my ceiling is leaking. It's raining, and it's supposed to rain for the next 3 days. Yippee. Fun. So hopefully it doesn't ruin my ceiling completely. So I take my oil and I just pour it on top. And then I just kind of then I take the rest of it and I'll put it on my wrist, or right here on my chest, or on my ankles, or all three. But I have this herbal joint here. It is mugwort, lavender, chamomile, and what else did I put in it? Chamomile. I know I put some flowers in it. Oh, I put some pineapple sage flowers in this. And all of those, oh, and I put salvia blossoms, red salvia spike blossoms. So, and a little bit of cannabis leaves from my plant last year. And this is supposed to really increase your dream vividness and your dream recall ability. So I'm going to smoke this tonight. And then in the morning, of course, I'll be back to report on the effects. So let me light this candle, and I'll sit, and I'm not going to smoke the whole thing right here on camera, but I will take a couple drags off of it so y'all can see that these are herbal, these are safe herbs to be ingesting. Although, if you have anxiety issues, if you have history of panic attacks, if you have heart problems or risk of psychosis, please do not do any of this. Don't try this because it could set off things like that. So just be very careful. I wouldn't recommend smoking a whole entire joint. If you mix it with other things, like lavender and all that, those aren't going to hurt you. It's all going to calm you. But the mugwort you must be careful with because it's a very potent herb and it could have adverse effects. So in this whole joint, I maybe put one mugwort leaf. So just be very sparing with your mugwort. And of course, I'm going to let me sit and say something, a prayer. Okay. I ask my spirit guides and my ancestors and my higher self to bless this herbal remedy, these sacred herbs that I am about to ingest. Bless me with this sight and ability to recall my dreams and any symbolism that is contained within them. I ask for guidance into the realm of my mind and into the depths of my soul so I may figure out how to best achieve my greatest self and my happiest state. How to live from a place of love and abundance. Blessed be. So tonight is a new moon. It's actually a perfect night to do something like this. Especially this particular new moon. Because we have got plenty more, like I think more than half of the planets are in Aquarius right now. Tastes very mellow, very mild. Very leafy. So, a couple rituals you could do is the new moons usually are good for manifesting. They're good for goal writing. They are good for really getting to the nitty-gritty of who you are. Because your brain filters out a lot. It does that for your survival. Because if you sat there and were just inundated with all of this information about reality, you would be in a cathartic state. You'd just be there. There would be nothing, because you would be in awe. You would be in shock and awe. You would not be able to function. And so your brain, it's like your brain is a valve to your mind. Okay, your mind is outside of your brain. Your brain just is the receiver for your mind. And so it filters out so much. And usually it filters out everything that you're not thinking about, that you are not putting your attention on. Just like when you go to buy a certain car, and before you buy that car or have that car, you never see it. You rarely see that car. But as soon as you buy it, you fucking see those cars everywhere and the same color. And you're like, well, what the heck happened? Or you name your kid something I did. You named your kid something that nobody else around you has that name for their kid. Nobody you know ever has had this name. And yet, as soon as you name your kid this name, boom, the Aidens are everywhere. So your mind, and all of our minds, this is what they call the collective mind. All of our minds, think of a cloud, right? An invisible cloud made of plasma, stuff you cannot see. Imagine, okay, so that's the collective mind. It's all above us. It's like the internet. That's our collective mind. The internet is our collective mind. It's all of the information ever known to humanity, every thought, every opinion, every sentence, statement, joke, everything you could ever think of is there, because it's all of everyone's mind. It's all of us together. So that's the collective mind. And then you have, your individual minds that are mixing with that, which is why people get the same ideas around the same time sometimes, because you're pulling from the collective. It's not your mind. Your mind makes up the collective. You know what I mean? And your brain filters that mind, that consciousness, that consciousness that is not local. You cannot pin it down. It has no locality. It's not physical. It's all so amazing. But your brain filters out so much of what's not necessary for your survival, So I'm going to smoke a little bit more of this, and then in the morning I'll come back and report the effects to you guys. So see you in the morning. All right, guys, it's the next morning, and I had super vivid dreams last night. And they were actually really informative about a couple of friendships that I had been questioning, and whether to, continue, and how to continue them in a healthy way, because so far they have not, this specific relationship has not been healthy, this friendship. you know, because my friend who has also been through a lot of trauma in her life, and we went through our traumas actually together, like our childhood traumas. We went through them together, and so a lot of our relationship was like a trauma bond. It was me sticking up for her and me being her voice, you know, and then subsequently her growing up to not have a voice, and she blamed me for it. But I had some really eye-opening dreams about it. About, you know, just what I should do. So yeah, I really highly recommend the mugwort smoking if you have no problems with smoking stuff like that. So yeah, very, very good experience. Really helpful. It's really helpful if you do it over a couple periods over a couple days. So you do it like once one day, and the next day you do it, next day you do it. And also I recommend writing down everything. So I love you guys, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.